Think about it. What would you do if someone suddenly fainted beside you? Or if a child got burnt in the kitchen? The truth is that emergencies don't send invitation. They just happen. And in those few minutes, what would you do will actually save a life. Well, today we'll be talking about something that can turn an ordinary person into a hero. First aid. Stay with us as we unpack what first aid really means, how to respond to quick emergency, and of course, how simple home remedies can make a big difference. As always, you're welcome to the program, Your Health, where we look into vital health issues and, of course, provide practical health tips to help you stay healthy. I am Salamat Ozioma Lukman. But before we get into our main discussion for today, let's take a look at these benefits of honey, aloe vera, ginger, and lemon, and how they play an amazing role in first aid. I will be right back. Welcome back. So next time, before you rush for the medicine cabinet, remember nature's first aid helpers might just be sitting right in your kitchen. Now let's move to our interview segment where we'll be speaking with a trained first aider, Janet Okoli, who will be sharing with us insight and experience on handling emergencies. Do stay with us.
The first immediate and skilled treatment or care given to a sick person or an injured person. And a first aider is a trained person or someone who has the basic knowledge to give basic medical care to an injured person or a sick person. Rendering first aid or in administering first aid, let me put it that way. Their guiding principles, we call them the primary assessment. It's like a guideline before you can respond. And it has an acronym, Dr. ABC, DR, then ABC. So D stands for danger, R for response, A for airways, B for breathing, C for circulation, CPR, call for help. So the C, like three C's merged together, that's Dr. ABC. So D is danger. As a first responder, when I say first responder, I mean a first aider. Before I can attend to a casualty means someone who needs help, an injured person, a sick person, that's the term for them. I have to think of my safety. If, let me create a scene, somebody is drowning, for example, and I'm around the scene, I don't know how to swim. Even if I want to save the person, I can't jump inside the water because we'll end up having two casualties. So the first thing to check out as a first aider is your safety. So you check around for danger. Is the scene okay for me to go in and help? If the scene is okay, the place where maybe the accident have happened is okay, you have ascertained that the environment is clear, then you go to render help. That's the first thing you check. Then the second thing, the R, which is response. When you get there, in most cases, in emergency, you might not know the person. So you seek for response. You call out, can you hear me? You tap the shoulder of the person, maybe on the floor, he is lying down. You tap, you try to call names. Can you hear me? Hello? You seek for response. If you don't get response, you go on your knees, you bend, you try to check for airways. That's the A. You check for airways by tilting the head slightly backward, then you open the mouth, that's the chin. You open the mouth to check if there's any item stuck in the mouth that could prevent, proper airflow to the casualty. After checking for that, you check for breathing. You want to know if this person is still breathing. So how do you do that? You feel. So you go, you lower your chin and feel if there's a warm air coming out from the nostril. So you feel. Then another thing you do is you observe the chest. If there's a rise and fall of the chest. So that's how you check for breathing. Then the C is you call for help. Most of us don't know our emergency numbers or who to call in times of emergencies. So as a passerby, you just met an accident scene, you call people around, you call emergency services, you call them while you are still attending to the casualty. Then you check for circulation. You check if the heart is still beating, and you check with your two index finger, you you place it on the wrist to feel the pulse. You can also check for circulation by placing your two index finger on by the neck side, just a gentle depression to feel. There's this artery called the carotid artery by the side. You just gently place it, you feel it. So these are ways you check for circulation. So if after checking for circulation, you notice that the casualty is not breathing, then you begin CPR. All this checking you're going to do within 10 seconds, calling for help and checking. And CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Cardio, you're talking about the heart. Pulmonary, you're talking about the lungs, that's the airways. Then pulmonary resuscitation, you're talking about reviving, trying to bring the person back. To carry out that CPR, what we do is you administer 30 chest compressions and 2 rescue breaths within 10 seconds. 30 chest compression, 2 rescue breaths within 10 seconds. So for the rescue breath, you might not administer it in all cases. If I don't know you, I can't do rescue breath for you, especially when I don't have the device barrier to administer rescue breath, because it's a mouth-to-mouth thing. So if I don't know your history, I can't do it because it's a way of I can get infected. So we advise that if you are not conversant with the person's history, if it was a child, maybe your child, your husband, you know their history, so you can do that. But if it's any other person, get a device barrier to protect yourself, or just stick to the CPR. Choking. Choking is when there's a particle or an object in the throat blocking the airways. It could be partial choking, it could be complete choking. So, how do you notice if someone is choking? Like for kids, even for adults, you see them coughing continuously. You see them making whistling sound. You can't talk. So, when you see that, you know that somebody is choking. So, to help someone who is choking, if it's a partial choke, choking, you can tell the person to continue coughing to dislodge what is in the throat. So they keep coughing, coughing until they cough out what is in the throat. Sometimes it doesn't stop. So you can give 5 back stroke using the heel of your hand in between the shoulder blades. So you stand behind the person and give 5 sharp blows using the heel of your hand. Then the other one we have, so when you do that, there's possibility that the object will be dislodged, and sometimes it's not. So if we get to that stage, you've drawn the first, the second, and it's not coming out, you can do what we call the abdominal thrust, the Heimlich maneuver. So you stand behind the casualty. So now the person is the casualty because he's choking and he needs help. So you stand behind the casualty and you place your leg, one of your legs in between for balance. So you wrap your arm round their waist. You make a fist with one hand and hold it with the second hand and place it above the navel. So just like I am now, let me assume I'm the casualty. So the person helping me is behind. The person's arm is around my waist. Then form the fist and hold it. Then place it above my navel. So the person is going to give me 5 sharp inward and upward thrusts. That's the abdominal thrust. Inward goes this way, in, out, like as if you want to lift the person. So you press in and you lift. So that's how you do, and the object comes out. So after that, while you're at that, you are still calling for help, because sometimes we also experience some conditions even after administering all this, it doesn't come out. So you really still have to take the person to the hospital in a very serious case of choking. Like a container that contains the basic things that you need to administer first aid treatment. And the list is inexhaustible. So the basic things you need in a first aid box, you need disposable hand gloves, you need thermometer, you need safety pins, you need adhesive bandage, scissors, razors, pain relievers, gauze. You need gauze for covering large wounds. You need emergency numbers. Many people don't have this. What to do, like the numbers to call in case of emergency, it should be in your first aid box too. So, like I said initially, the list goes on. We have triangular bandages. You use them to make pad, you use them for immobilization, doing transport. So, depending on what you're handling, that will inform the things you really need in the hospital. Yeah, our emergency number is 112. So some people don't know it. Then, like in a home front, it's advisable that you write some numbers that can be easily reached. Maybe where you keep your first aid box, maybe mommy is easily reached and you have young children, some of them might not even know your number by heart. So, but if it's written there with the name, even when they can't call, they can easily give someone who is around to make the call. Please, can you quickly call so person for me? So that number, if it's handy, is also very good for response. As humans, emotions set in. Maybe in a case of accident, you can panic, and it happens to everybody, even the first aiders. But being able to, bring yourself back to order is very, very paramount, because when you panic, you will not be able to coordinate yourself, to think properly, to be able to administer the right help. So being able to bring ourselves to order is very important. You see people when there's an accident or something happens, not because they don't know what to do, but they keep shouting. And in emergency situation, every minute counts, because you are dealing with life. You can lose a life within 5 minutes. So what you do within that 5 minutes is very important. So in times like that, it's advisable that you stay calm and try to do what is expected of you to do. If you are to maybe attend to bleeding, try the much that you can. If you're attending to choking casualty, you try to do what you can. So you don't panic, you don't start shouting. Then in emergency situations, giving the right information, clear communication is important. Let's assume there's a fire going on here and I need to call the fire service. I cannot just call and say, oh, there's fire burning. Let's say here is just call a location. That location you are calling, let's say this is Lugbe, for example. You say, oh, there's a fire burning in Lugbe. You didn't give the exact situation. You did not give the information of the nature of the fire. Is it a chemical fire? Is it petrol? Is it, So in emergency situation, it is advised that when you are calling for help, you give a clear communication, because it will help your respondent know what to do, what to bring along when they are coming. You should try to get the training to be able to save life, because in our daily activities we encounter some things, sometimes we don't even plan them. That's why they are called emergencies. So knowing what to do at that emergency situation is very important, and they are so critical, because just a minute or two is a decider of what happens next. So it's something everyone, from the home front, the office, everywhere, the workplace, everybody should take the matter of first aid very seriously.
Thank you, Janet Okoli. Those are truly valuable tips, and I'm sure everyone listening today has learned something new. Remember, being prepared doesn't just make you helpful, it could make you a lifesaver. Now, let's move on to our health tips segment, where we'll be sharing some simple, important safety steps. Do take a watch. Those were some really useful health tips, simple, practical, and truly life savings when it matters most. Well, it is now time for our Did You Know segment. Get ready to learn some interesting and surprising facts about first aid. So welcome to our feedback segment where we take your contributions and questions. It is always a delight to have you join us. And of course, if you're just joining us for the first time, you can also be part of this by sending your messages to the numbers displaying on your screen. Our first question today is coming from, and it goes rather, hi presenter, I took the advice of your doctor on always having a bottle of water with us. I have started including more fruits and water in my daily routine. I already feel lighter. And this is coming from Alta Jacob in Abuja. Well, Alta, that's so wonderful to hear. You know, your health matters. Just stick to our doctor's advice, and of course, you will thank your body for that. Our second comment today is coming from Aisha, and it goes, good day, doctor. I often experience frequent stomach pain during menstrual period. What can I do to relieve it? Of course, this is coming from Aisha from Use Zone 5. And our doctor's reply goes, thank you for your message, Aisha. Menstrual cramps and stomach pain during your period are quite common. But when the pain becomes too frequent or intense, it is important to seek medical advice. In the meantime, you can manage the discomfort by staying hydrated, using a warm compress on your lower abdomen, and doing light exercise. Thank you all for your feedback messages. Keep them coming. We always feel happy receiving them. This I'll be taking on our question and answer segment today. Let's go on a quick break and I'll be right back. That's all we have for you today. Remember, first aid isn't just a skill. It is an act of kindness that can save lives. Be prepared, stay calm, and always help when it matters most. Join us again, same time, same station next week for another exciting topic. Stay safe and stay healthy.